Welcome to the dungeon! In this guide, we'll be discussing Nurse Deena Ratchet, the Disciplinarian. Now, get your ship, grab your crew, and select easy mode because you're not a little bitch like I am. Since we're now past Max, Sarah, and Gork, you're gonna start seeing a lot less lore here in these videos as well, because honestly, the three main characters are pretty much the only ones with reasonable amounts of story. Everyone else just kind of has a paragraph, honestly. Nurse Deena Ratchet is one of the loudest people alive, and although being a good nurse, she won't shut up about it. That's about it, honestly. It's not super exciting. In-game, Deena is a very well-rounded character with relatively high speed and just a little bit lower attack, and roughly mid-tier health and wit. Although a relatively useful character on her own, Deena really excels when she's paired with other characters in the same room, because her title of nurse really lives up to its name. Deena begins the game with the Got Your Back skill, so she's already better with others around, but also starts with Scamper, so she can be a really nice early game runner if you don't have anyone else. At level 2, she immediately gets Paramedic, and this is where the healing begins. While Deena is not the only character in the game that gets Paramedic, she is the only one that can get it to level 3. And believe me, that same room regen of 50 is absolutely worth it if you're doing a long run. At level 4, she becomes able to operate, and at level 5, she gets Placebo, which is a fantastic passive skill that'll allow your heroes all over the floor to be healing passively, as long as they're in a powered room. But that's not too difficult, so pretty good. At level 7, she gets Verbal Abuse, which will boost the attack and defense of other heroes in the room, and while not very exciting, it is an incredibly useful ability. Deena's final skill is learned at level 9, and it's Iron Fist, one of the best combat abilities in the game that boosts all other heroes' attack for every other hero in the room. It might not look like it, but this is an incredibly good ability. The buff might be small, but especially on Deena, a character that's based around having your whole team in one room, this is incredibly good and can consistently give huge damage boosts to everyone on your team. Overall, Deena is probably one of the best frontline support units, if not the best, in the entire game. Wes and Mormish definitely outclass her when it comes to backline support, but she's going to be on the front lines adding her DPS to everyone else's, while they're going to be sitting in the back defending and using their passives, which changes up their playstyle quite a bit. If you have a build centered around having all of your heroes in one massive kill room and just stacking up resources there, she is definitely the way to go. With the amount of healing that she can output in powered rooms and with other heroes, you're gonna be wasting a lot less food on healing, if any at all, through the early levels. Her healing does unfortunately drop off later in the game, especially using Drill Pod. She's gonna be basically useless once you get up to the 20 plus floors. Quite simply put, there's just too much damage coming in to heal that much, although it will slow it down slightly, which still isn't a bad thing. There are just better options. Deena is probably one of the best characters just to have at the start of the game, making it super easy to defend choke points and just get through those early floors. Weapons-wise, Deena uses a pistol, so give her the sonic gun. Like, holy shit, have you seen the stats on this thing? Nothing else comes close. Oh my god. Not only does it have incredible DPS, it'll also boost her speed in the case that you need to use her as a runner, which I don't totally recommend, but it's still pretty reasonable, especially on early floors. When it comes to choosing armor, pretty much anything that gives the highest defense without taking away from speed, as well as giving good health regen would also be nice. If you can find a zone device, that is literally the best option for her, because Neurostun Light will also slow down monsters in the room, allowing your kill room to be much more effective, but you don't always get what you need. Deena's final slot is in Device, and honestly there are a lot of options. If you're having her stand still and operate, then anything that boosts wit is fantastic. Anything that boosts defense and attack is good all the time. Or, a pretty reasonable option is the Dove, which will not only boost her defense, but also allow Got Your Back to work with factions outside of the regular ones. This means that if you have a team that's not entirely composed of crew, Got Your Back will still work with them, which is pretty handy. Due to Deena being such a good support, pretty much anyone pairs well with her at the start of the game, but it's preferable to get crew so that you can get Got Your Back from the very beginning. My personal favorite pairing is Deena with Zugma, because although Deena is a pretty solid early game runner, Zugma is just better at it, as well as also being able to operate, having decent damage output, and fantastic abilities, and especially for Secret Compartment, which allows you to carry dust over levels, powering more rooms, and allowing Deena to use her abilities even more effectively. It should also be said that Gork and Deena are a fantastic pairing, probably one of the best in the game, allowing Gork just to stand still and tank things, although I have to admit I don't recommend starting with them, simply because you won't have a door opener. Both of these characters want to stand very still and do their own thing, so I recommend picking up Gork or Deena respectively in the dungeon if you find them, instead of starting with them. There's just better things to do at the beginning. All in all, Deena is incredibly consistent as a hero. Whether you start with her or pick her up along the way in the dungeon, her supporting skills make an excellent kill room viable. With healing on your side, you won't have to waste as much food, so that's more resources, and operating is a really easy way to get more industry as well. Deena's abilities might be a little bit boring, but she's still probably one of the best supports in the entire game, and that's pretty good to hear. My name is Mason, easy mode is too hard, and never forget that they did surgery on a grape. Good luck in that dungeon.